Hello, in this video, I'm going to be talking a little bit about your final examination. I know there's usually a lot of anxiety centered around final exams. So let's talk a little bit about that, maybe some strategies for studying for that final. Let's take a look at the page itself that we have for the assignment. So we're going to have that final. It's going to be 50 questions. Um, and you have more than enough time, I should think. You have 100 or 210 minutes, so plenty of time on this. Now, if you notice on here, it does say the questions are going to be multiple choice or true and false. So there will be no short answer or essay questions on the final. The next question I usually get is, well, will there be the math questions on there? Yes, there will be some math questions on there. If you remember from some of your previous your two midterms, we did have some multiple choice questions that were math oriented. So my recommendation is have your calculators at the ready. You have the calculators that we have used throughout the course, the NPV calculator, the internal rate of return calculator, and even the arachnoid calculator, the kind of the basic time value of money calculator. I'd have those pages ready to go, at least somehow bookmarked or what have you. Um, but again, the rest of the questions you should find as multiple choice and true and false. None of that of the short answer, short essay in there. This is worth 100 points, so it's twice the amount of the other midterms that you've had in the course. It is going to be somewhat underweighted on the final chapters that you've had since midterm two. But midterm, all the material since the second midterm will is fair game, and there are some questions oriented on that. Chapters 17, 16, etc. Will be on there. Now, strategy. How should you study for this thing? Well, hopefully you've been studying all along. You've been reading the textbook. That's always number one. Make sure that you are reading the textbook. But I would highly recommend that you go back and look at those previous midterms. You've had midterm one and two. Take a look at those questions. Those questions, those themes are really central to what you need to take away from this course. So obviously, it comes to sort of a logical conclusion that those themes, those questions are going to come back again. So on the final. So go back, look at those, study those, read those through, you know, two, three, four times. They weren't tremendously long midterms. I think we had 30 questions on each, so not too bad. So you could easily read through them, highlight, what were the correct answers, and kind of like, oh yeah, that's why that one was correct. Um, remember that. Look, refresh your mind on that material. I think that's probably the best way to study for that. Plus, just kind of perusing those chapters that you've had all throughout the course. If you wanted to take it to the next level, it would be a review of all the videos that we've had throughout the entire course. So I think with about 3, 4 hours of prep, and maybe not even that, probably more like on 2 to 3 hours of prep for the final, most of you should do really, really well, as long as you've been kind of carrying it along all the way through. Now, if this is a situation, kind of a do or die situation for you, where you've got to get a good grade in this final to pass the course, means we've probably had some weak areas in the previous modules. In that case, you probably do want to put a lot of time and effort reviewing all the reading material in depth, reviewing all the videos, making sure you're able to not fumble around in doing simple time value of money, simple cash flow um, type equations, because you trying to figure that out while the clock is running can be very stressful. Even though I think we have generous time on here, you really don't want to be learning the material while you're trying to take this. So that's for individuals who maybe for whatever reasons your performance up to this date has not been what you've been hoping for. But I think for the vast majority of you, 2 hours, maybe 3 hours of kind of what I call light review, and you should be golden with the final. Okay, so that covers the review for the final. I think all of you will do very, very well. I've been very impressed with the performance on the final, especially or on the midterm, especially midterm one. You did great. Midterm two seemed to be a little bit more difficult for some people, but the scores were, all in the good range, and everybody was passing for the most part on the midterm two. So I really anticipate you guys are going to knock this one out of the box. But like I said, make sure you go back and check those older midterms out, midterm one and two, and to help you study for that. And then remember that the other chapters that we haven't been tested on are going to be in there as well. So make sure you kind of got those key concepts down. I'm not going to ask anything really obscure. I'm really looking at those key central concepts that I want you to go away with. So, but I think you're all going to do fantastic. Just take that information to heart that I've given you, and you'll be doing just great on the final. So, best of luck.